We're now on part 5 of our voltage divider tutorial, and we're just about halfway through. This tutorial is going to be a little bit longer than the previous tutorials because it's got two parts. Part A, we're going to name, value, and label some parts, and then in part B we're going to do wire net names. And so where we left off in tutorial 2 part 4 is we've added all our parts, and then we drew wires between those parts. But I forgot to add the 3 wires that go to the Molex connector, pins 1, 2, and 3. So I've done that here. What's new in this tutorial is that there's 3 new buttons. One is the name, the next one is value, and down here is the label. And if you can't really see what it is on this video, the name and value buttons have like a little component in them with R2 on the top and 10K on the bottom. But the difference between them is that R2 is bold on name and 10K is bold on value. And the label button has ABC in it. Select the name button, and we're just going to go in and start naming components, our parts and our wires. Let's start by selecting the wire connected to VCC. It should automatically be named VCC. Let's check ground. That should automatically be named ground. Let's label our connector. Let's label it power. Power and output. The power is going to be on pin 3, ground is going to be on pin 1, and the output is going to be on pin 2. Alright, the output that we're going to read, the division of the voltage that we want to read, is between R1 and R2. So we want to label that wire between them output. So with the name button still selected, click that wire and label it output. Alright, we're going to label and name these these wires connected to the Molex connector in part 2, or part B of this tutorial. But for now, you'll notice that all these red parts have names, but the wires don't. You can give them names by using the label button. So select the label button and click a wire and give it a label. Click the output wire, give that a label. You can do it for G and D too if you want. We haven't given these wires connected to the Molex connector any names yet, so if we label it, it's going to be a default value that that Eagle assigns it. Hit Ctrl Z to undo that if you did it. So now we've named parts and we've labeled parts. Well, now we want to set some values of parts. The only two in this tutorial that we need to do that for is R1 and R2. So click the value button and then select R2. Let's give it a value of 10 kilo ohms. So just type in 10K. And let's give R2 1K. Alright. One thing to mention for future reference is it is good to give your components names and values that you will actually be using. That helps whoever is going to make this schematic, if they ever had trouble building it or whatever, and if they needed to refer to a schematic, if you didn't have your parts and components labeled, you would pretty much leave that person up to figure out what the values were. So it's good practice to give your parts labels and values so that you can just know exactly what you're building, and then you can always refer to it. Alright, so that was pretty much part A. We've got some names and some labels, but we need to connect VCC to pin 3, output to pin 2, and ground to pin 1. We could do that by just drawing wires to them, but as you get into bigger circuits and schematics, you don't want to have wires going all over the place. So what you can use instead is called a wire net name. So go ahead and select your name button, and let's select the wire that's connected to pin 3 on your power and output connector. Name it VCC and say OK. You're going to get a pop-up saying, do you want to connect this wire, which default name was N$1, and VCC, and say yes. So what that did was it actually connected this wire here to this wire just by virtually assigning it. You don't actually have to draw the physical wire. And so now if we go to the label button and we label it, it is actually VCC. So I'm going to repeat those steps for pins 2 and 1. Name, click 2, this one is output. Yes, I want to connect them. Name this pin 1 GND and connect it. Now let's label them. And there you go. You've now wire netted GND to GND from the connector to ground, and output to output, VCC to VCC. So we are about halfway through this tutorial. At this point we could actually go to the board layout, but if you have some errors, you want to check that, and in the next tutorial I'll show you how you can check your errors. So I'll see you then.